is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session for local Bartending School for July 20th, 2020. My name is Carlos Navia. I do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time and 6 p.m. Eastern time. You are always welcome to be a part of this Zoom call, be a part of this class by following local Bartending School on Facebook. If you go to the link, if you're already an enrolled student, there's a drop down. You can pick that you're already an enrolled student. You will go directly into the Zoom call. If you're not an enrolled student, local Bartending School, it will ask you for a little information, and then it will give you a link to this call, and you are welcome to ask me any questions about anything. I don't think we have any questions before we begin today, so I'm just going to kind of jump into today's topic. Tales of the Cocktail coming up next week. Once again, it's the annual convention, Tales of the Cocktail, which is a nonprofit organization. They do it every year in July. They're actually doing it live again in the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana this year. Because of COVID, they haven't really done it live the last 2 years. They will also be doing it on a virtual platform this year, which they've done the last 2 years because of COVID. It is unfortunately not free this year. It is $15 if you want to join and be part of the virtual platform. It is really cool, though. You do get to commune with bartenders and spirit professionals from all over the world. You know, you can ask them questions and get some great information, some great feedback from other bartenders and people all over the world. So I definitely think it's worth it. And I will be in the app, and you're welcome to find me and say hello to me if you'd like to. Other thing I kind of want to just talk about today is a little bit about wine. And I've got a kind of an inexpensive bottle of wine here that I'm going to use for my demonstration. Wine has really kind of progressed in my lifetime. From something that was only for the elite and the hoity-toity, to something that has become very mainstream, and everybody drinks wine now. If I meet someone that says that they don't like wine, it's very simply, you haven't found the wine you like yet, because there is a taste, there is a flavor for everyone. There really is something out there for everyone. It is a very, very, broad, spirit as far as that goes. I found some tricks. I live in Central California. I live in wine country out here. So I'm learning more and more about it. I'm not the hugest wine drinker. No one expects a bartender to be a sommelier. To be a sommelier, it takes, number one, a year of your life. It also takes some money, because you don't work. All you do for a year is drink wine, study it, write about it. And it takes money because the wine costs a lot of money that you drink. You're not spending the year drinking $2 Chuck or something like that, or something like I have here. So it is kind of an expensive process. When it's all said and done, though, that person is part farmer, part chemist, and part drunk. Because they break down, they go as deep as the chemical compounds in the soil that will help create the flavors in the grape, to the chemical compounds that create the actual flavors in the wine. They go as deep as this. Was the grape grown on a north-facing slope? Or was the grape grown on a south-facing slope? Because it's going to affect the flavor of the grape, and it's going to affect the wine. Now, you don't have to go that deep. You don't have to know, all that much about it. You should just know a little something. Bubbles, as we call it here, are sparkling wines. Champagne only comes from the Champagne region of France. Italian sparkling wine is Prosecco. In Spain, they have Cava. Where I live, it's California sparkling wine. No matter what Andre puts on the bottle, which is really cheap stuff. It says California champagne, which is just oxymoronical, and it's got a very broad range. It can be from very sweet to very, very dry, which just means not sweet. Your whites typically go through a Moscato is a semi-sparkling, has a little bit of carbonation, but not like your champagnes or your Proseccos or Cavas or something like that. Very, very sweet. Riesling, very sweet, kind of clear white wine, almost like a candy-like sweetness, as opposed to Pinot Grigio that's very sweet, but has more fruity tones to it. You're going to get a little more fruitiness out of that. You have your Sauvignon Blanc, which is your very dry white wine that most people serve. Might taste hints of pears, green apples, something like that in there. And you got Chardonnay like I have here. Just kind of its own big bad boy. Two things people talk about Chardonnays, oakiness, which is the flavor it takes on from being aged in oak barrels. What's kind of a trend where I live here now is to, instead of putting it in oak barrels, you age it in stainless steel canisters. That way it's unoaked, or it's got no oaky taste to it. They call it stainless Chardonnay or unoaked Chardonnay. Kind of a new trend. You might see it, where you live, but it's kind of popular here. And, for a long time, people wanted, I want a Chardonnay that's not very oaky. Okay, well, we can make one that's not oaky at all. Put it in stainless steel canisters. It doesn't have an oaky flavor to it. The other thing people talk about in Chardonnays is the butteriness, just kind of the velvety feeling you feel when it hits your tongue. It kind of coats your tongue. It's smooth, it's velvety, it's buttery. That's what they're referring to. The two basic red wines you're going to see, Merlots and Cabernets. Not much going on in either one of those. You're basically going to taste mostly the grape. Syrah is a very sweet red wine. Pretty normal to find some sediment at the end of a Syrah bottle. So I don't dump the whole thing out. It's got some purple flakes and some crystallized sugar in there. Once you kind of start to see at the end, throw out the rest of the Syrah bottle. Get a fresh one. Don't dump all that stuff into someone's glass. It really, really does look disgusting. Pinot Noir is moving up or is a little broader. Just means you're tasting more things in there. You might taste more things in the grapes and fruits or other stuff like that. Up to Zinfandels, which is like the big bad boy of red wines. It's a very broad wine. There's a lot going on. You could taste other fruits. You could taste tobacco. You could taste smokiness. You could taste molasses. You could taste chocolate. You could taste a lot of different things in there. Zen is not for the novice wine drinker, the person that has an occasional glass with dinner, here and there. It's definitely something for the person that drinks wine a lot and can handle something that broad, that many flavors and that much going on with it. That's just kind of a basic overview and, kind of what bartenders should know. You're not going to know what every wine tastes like unless you taste them all, which is a noble venture, but pretty hard to do. But I've picked up some tricks where I live here, just for selling bottles. Wine is made in 49 states now. They grow grapes in every state but Alaska. So there's vineyards everywhere. And I found that it's really easy to sell bottles and make good money doing that. I expect to get a 20% tip. That's what I'm looking for. I sell you a $100 bottle of wine. I expect you to give me a $20 tip. And it's going to take me maybe 2 minutes to open it properly for you and serve it for you. And then I'm going to walk away. And if I get busy, you'll help yourself to what's left in the bottle. It's kind of just that simple. But if I am buying, that $100 bottle of wine, I want to make sure it's opened in a proper fashion. So that's really what we're going to talk about today, what they refer to as proper tableside bottle opening or service. Even though it can be done at the bar, you could be, at a bar table. That's also your responsibility in the bar area. And if you are given the opportunity to take some of the bar tables in your area, take them. Take the money home. It's just as simple as that. So, I've sold some in a big bottle. I definitely want to make sure it's opened right. A couple tricks to selling bottles. One is this. This is 750 milliliter bottle of wine. Means it's about 25 ounces, which means I'm going to get 4 6-ounce glasses out of this. If I have two people in the same party that order the same glass of wine, I'm going to offer them a bottle. Generally, a bottle is the price of 3 glasses, meaning they're going to get a glass for free. So I let them know, hey, by the way, if you're each going to have a second glass, why not just get a bottle? That's only 2 glasses each, and you'll be getting a glass for free. May seem kind of counterintuitive. If I were to sell them 2 individual glasses, wouldn't my sales be higher and thus my tips be higher? Yes and no. I believe I've gotten a lot of people that would have just had 1 glass each to split the bottle because they were getting better deal and have that second glass of wine when they wouldn't have ordered it necessarily. The other thing is it keeps me more efficient. If I pour them 2 glasses and then I go to make drinks for other people, and then one of them has to stop me and I have to fill their glass up, and I go try to make drinks for other people and then someone else stops me and, I have to fill the other person's glass up. I'm spending a lot more time with them than if I just open the bottle, pour them each some and leave it there for them to help themselves. So it can be more efficient. And I think I've definitely got people to spend more money that would have just had the single glass by themselves. The other good trick to selling bottles is you get into this situation, and this happens from time to time. Water. You'll have someone that's, eating dinner and doesn't like the selection of wines that you sell by the glass. Oh, I don't like any of these, but I really like that bottle you have. I just don't want the whole bottle. You can't just open the bottle and give me 1 glass. And you get this a lot. It's pretty common. It comes up. No, unfortunately, I can't do that. We do not sell that by the glass. But if you buy the whole bottle, drink as much of it as you want. When you're done, I will pack it up for you and you can take the rest home. And a lot of times I've gotten someone that would have bought a $10 glass of wine to be served by the glass, got them to buy a $50, $60, $70 bottle, and they were happier about it. They weren't going to be happy with that $10 glass, but they were happy they got the wine they wanted with their dinner. They didn't mind spending more. It's not going to go to waste. I pack it up for them and they can take it home. And I will show you how to do that when we're kind of done with the whole process. So, I've sold them a nice expensive bottle. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to bring it out. I'm ready to go through the whole process here. First thing, and especially if it's a place where, it's fine dining, white tablecloth, stuff like that, I would get a nice white dinner napkin or something, not a Dollar Tree towel like I'm actually using, but, a nice white dinner napkin that I could throw over my arm like this here. Two things I want to use this for. Number one, if it's a white wine like this, I'm going to bring out on ice. The bottle's going to be wet. I'm going to wipe the bottle off, make sure it doesn't slip out of my hand, make sure it doesn't drip on anybody. Second of all, I can use it to keep the bottle from dripping. Red wine dripped on a white tablecloth looks really, really bad, but red wine dripped on a woman's white blouse is hot, hot down. You have lost that table. There's no coming back. You've completely lost those people. So I have this towel here. I can dab it off to make sure that something like that doesn't happen. So the person has ordered a bottle. I have gone and retrieved the bottle that they asked for. I'm going to bring it out to them. I'm going to show it to the person that ordered it. Whether it's a man or a woman, it is assumed that the person that ordered the bottle is the person that knows what they ordered. That's the person you want to show the bottle to and make sure it's the right bottle. So I will show it to them and I will tell them what it is. Now, this does not have a vintage on it. The vintage is very simply the year the grapes were picked. So, for instance, where I live, the Cabs and Pinots are aged 3 years. They bottled and sent out the 2019s this year. And that's what 2019s this year. And that's what we're getting. That's what we're serving. And, for most places around here, they won't even bother to take those out of the box and put them on shelves because they're not going to see 2023. Okay, they're not going to be sitting that long to where the cork's going to dry out, to where the wine's going to go bad or anything like that. They're only going to be sitting for maybe a year at the most. Something that's going to be sitting around 3, 4, 5, more years, something like that. Yes, that's where we're definitely going to need to, store it properly and probably decant it to let the wine breathe, especially if it's a red wine, to let the wine breathe, which will change the flavor of the wine. So I take the bottle. And I'll just make up a vintage since this doesn't have one. And I show it to the person that ordered it. He ordered the Beringer Chardonnay 2020. I let them look at the bottle and I let them tell me it's okay. This is a very, very, very important part of it. Let them tell you it's okay and make sure it's the right bottle. I worked at a hotel out here in Central California where I lived in Cambria, a town called Cambria, California, the Cambria Pines Lodge. Very nice place. Awesome place for a weekend if you want to go have some fun on the central coast of California and drink some wine. I showed up for my 7 p.m. shift, which was my usual shift. Walked in, clocked in, went to the bar, and there were a bunch of employees standing around a bottle of Dom Perignon with plastic cups drinking it. I was like, what the hell's going on? They said, do you want some? I said, yes. What the hell's going on? And they told me this story that had happened before my shift started, before I arrived there that day. Someone in the dining room had ordered a bottle of Tobin James sparkling wine, which is a local sparkling wine made here. It is very, very sweet. It goes for about $10 at the grocery store. The hotel sells it for $20. The bartender did not know what the bottle looked like and instead gave the server a bottle of 2008 Dom Perignon that the hotel at the time sold for $450. The server did not realize it was the wrong bottle. Took it out to the table, opened it up, poured it for the people. They took one sip and they sent it back. Because what they ordered was a very sweet sparkling wine, and Dom is very dry. It's not sweet at all. So they didn't like it and they ended up sending it back. Then the server had to go get them the right bottle and ended up costing the hotel $450. And all they had to do was simply show the bottle to the people first. And the people would have said, no, that's not the right bottle. In fact, that's very expensive. You should take it back to the bar and be very careful with it, and would have let them know. And we could have avoided this whole situation by simply showing the bottle to the customer and letting them approve it and say that that is the bottle that they ordered. Along those same lines, working at the country club here in San Luis Obispo, I saw the same thing happen. But this time the server had shown the bottle to the customer and the customer okayed it. And she opened it and she poured it around the table. And when she got back to the gentleman that ordered it, he looked at the bottle and said, oh, wait, is that the 2007? Oh, I wanted the 2008, but I told you it was okay. So leave that bottle. Also bring the 2008. We're just going to drink them both. Live in wine country. No 4 guys are sharing one bottle of wine and calling it a day. So it very simply, he made the error. He acknowledged it. he still paid for that bottle of wine. So show it to the person, let them tell you it's okay. So I'm gonna grab my handy dandy wine key here. I'm pulling my little knife part out. I'm gonna switch cameras, kind of show you this part close up. One of the other things I'll say, through the whole process of doing this, you want to keep the front label facing the customers. Very simply, if I'm buying an expensive bottle of wine to impress the people I'm with, the front of the bottle is impressive, the back of the bottle is not impressive. So try to keep a label always facing the customers during the whole process of opening it. So I'm going to go to my other camera where we can see a little bit closer. And what we can kind of see in this camera is that we have two lips here on the bottle. We have a top lip here, a bottom lip here. A lot of people will just cut on this top lip here and just take this top portion off. And that's not really where you're meant to cut. You want to cut it on this bottom lip here. If you only cut on the top lip and only take this top portion off, when you pour the wine over, the wine will drip over this piece of metal. And what we affectionately refer to where I live as wine snobs will tell you that they taste metal in their wine. Do they really? I don't know. I don't have that sophisticated of a wine palate, but you should be dropping on this lower one. And I can basically just slide it up there and grab it into place without really looking by doing it like that. So I want to cut on this lower level and just slide it up into place. Now, if it really is fine dining, white tablecloths, stuff like that, I want to do this without turning the bottle. Once again, I want to keep the label of the bottle facing the customers. And it takes a little work, but it can be done in 3 strokes. If you come on the left side of the front, all the way around the back, and then the right side of the front, like that right there, you can take it off and it will be loose. Once again, takes a little practice, takes a little work, might take you a time or two to get it right. If it's really not fine dining white tablecloths, I can slide it up there and kind of give it a good spin. And as long as I'm bringing the front of the label back out, most people are going to accept that. It's not going to be too bad. Once again, if it really is nice, we're talking about $200 bottle. Yes, I'm doing the 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 strokes. So I have this part dislodged. Now I'm going to take this piece of metal off. And this is a little magic trick here. This little piece disappears. Okay. I don't set it on the bar. I don't set it on the table. I simply shove it into my pocket like it didn't exist. Next time I'm near a trash can, I take it out, I throw it in. I've had situations where I've taken handfuls out of my pocket because I've just been running around a bar or a country club golf course, opening bottles of wine all day. And I've just had a dozen of them, in my pocket at the end of the day. So boom, it's in my pocket, it disappears. Now I'm going to go back to my other camera, see how well I can do this in reverse. So I used to have a lot of problems with this. I would have problems starting the screw part, what they call the worm, into the cork and getting it in there straight. I would get it diagonally. It would start coming out of the side of the cork. I was having a lot of issues. First things first, always get one with a coated screw or a coated worm. This black coating is not for aesthetics. It's not for looks. It is specially designed to help it slide into a wine cork easier and less chance of tearing up the cork. So someone showed me a little trick here about how to get a good start and get a pretty good center every time. I'm going to try to do this backwards, but if I just kind of take the tip and just put the tip right in the middle, I can just push it in and start it. Just like that. And I'll get a pretty good centered line every time. So just come from the side, push the tip in, get it started down there. Whoops, as it falls out. Start it in there. And you'll get a pretty good center. You'll get a pretty good line down the middle. Now, if I'm at someone's table, I'm going to do this around to where it faces forward, just like that. So the front of the bottle is facing them. I can see them. They can see me. I'm going to turn a little sideways so you see this though. I want to leave one rung out. I don't want to go in too deep because I don't want to tear the cork up. I also don't want to come through the bottom of the cork. If I come through the bottom of the cork and a piece of cork comes off, it's time to get a new bottle and start over. So to avoid that, I don't go too deep. So the other thing I always recommend on an opener is this double hinge, and I'll show you how this works. Simply lift it halfway, and then I'm able to take this, reset it, and get fresh leverage like that. And very simply, all that allows me to do is instead of trying to pull the cork out with force from there, I can reset this, get fresh leverage, and pull the cork out softly. You don't want to pull the cork out with force. It should not make a popping sound for two reasons. Number one, it's a sign of a bad bottle. 25 years ago, it was 1 in every 10 bottles was bad. Now it's probably closer to 1 in every 50, 1 in every 100, a lot because of agricultural colleges like I live next to here in San Luis Obispo, that they've refined the process and they're not having as many bad bottles, but they still do exist and there is a chance of it. Bacteria gets into this bottle, it ferments wrong, there'll be pressure behind the cork, which there should not be in a Chardonnay. It's a sign of a bad bottle. Second thing is red wines will change flavor when they're exposed to the air. If I pull this out with force, it makes a pop. What happens is I shoot air back into the bottle. They call it bruising the wine or bruising the bottle. And they will say that it affects the flavor of the entire bottle. And the whole bottle's no good now. It has been bruised. So it should be pulled out nice and softly and might make a little tiny sound like that, but nothing really more. So I've taken the cork out gently. I'm going to take it off my wine opener here. And I simply just set it down in front of the person that ordered the bottle. They might want to feel it to make sure it's soft. This means the bottle was stored properly. If it's hard, the bottle wasn't stored properly, might not be any good. Because the wine's been touching the cork, also it has the smell, what they call the bouquet. They might want to smell it. I had one student tell me he went out to a very nice dinner with his grandmother. She bought a very nice bottle of wine. They gave her the cork. She smelled it, passed it around the table for everybody to smell. Got to his sister. She didn't know what to do. He said, bite it. She took a bite out of it. Exactly what my family would do at a nice restaurant. Something embarrassing. So just leave it there. If they want to feel it, if they want to smell it, boom, it's there for them to do that. So once again, I'm going to go to the person that ordered the bottle, whether man or woman, keeping the label out. I'm just going to pour them a small taste of the wine. As I stop pouring, if I rotate the bottle 180 degrees, it helps prevent drips. So we'll see how well I do here. I'm just going to do a small taste, and then I'm going to rotate the bottle, and you see it stops it from dripping, but still I have my thing here where I can dab it off. So I've poured a taste to the person that ordered it. Now I stand here with the label out and I wait. And I let this person do whatever they're going to do with the wine. They may look at it to see the color. They might swirl it around in the glass. All we're doing when we're swirling it around in the glass is when we swirl it around and we look, the wine is going to come back down the glass in columns. They call those the legs. Very simply, if the columns are really thin, then it's a thin, watery wine. If the columns are nice and thick, it's got some viscosity. It's a nice, a full-bodied wine. So they might do that, look for the legs on it. They might smell it. They might put it, swish it around, whatever they're going to do with it. Let them do whatever they're going to do and tell you it's okay. Now, if a woman ordered the bottle, I'm going to serve all the other ladies at the table first, clockwise. I'm going to finish with the lady that ordered the bottle, and then I will serve all the gentlemen at the table once again clockwise. If it is a gentleman that ordered the bottle, I would serve all the ladies at the table clockwise first. Then I would serve all the gentlemen at the table clockwise, once again, finishing with the person that ordered the bottle. So, and if it's a red wine, then I'm just going to leave it. If it's a white wine, I'm going to stick it back into a bucket of ice. And once again, if I get busy, they're going to help themselves. They're going to see I'm busy. They're going to figure out how to get the wine out of here into there. They're going to be fine. So I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to drink warm Chardonnay today. And that is the process. So the other thing I'll show you, hey, I drank all I wanted to out of my bottle. You said if I didn't finish it, I could take the rest home. Yes, you absolutely can. First thing you have to do, stick the cork in all the way as far as you can. It's not in all the way, but it's in far enough where I can't take it out with my hand. I would need a wine opener to take it back out. Second thing you need to do, put it in a bag, put it in a package. It's kind of an old package law. It's really not enforced that much in California anymore, but as a courtesy to your customer to help protect them, do it. Different states have different laws as far as open containers. Nevada, I could just grab this and walk out later, everybody. California, I can't have an open container, so I couldn't just pick up my bottle of wine, later, everybody, and walk out. It would have to be sealed and packaged by the establishment, not by me. So I push it back in. Second thing I'll do is put a bag on it. What I generally do, just as a courtesy to my customers, is I will also print an extra copy of their dinner receipt, and I will staple the bag closed with that. Look, If anybody stops you and asks you why you have this wine, you tell them you had dinner with me. You didn't want to finish the bottle because you didn't want to get drunk. I repacked it for you, put it in a bag. You're now taking it out. So that's just kind of my little tip. It's the same thing that applies to this as applies to selling draft beer to go. And they make things called growlers. I didn't bring one out here today, but 32-ounce containers called growlers. You can take it to a place they can fill it with draft beer. Put a lid on it, masking tape, bag. It's no longer an open container, and you can take it home. Same thing with wine, so you can take that home as well. I will say real quick, when it comes to champagne, it's not too hard or too difficult to open. There's not a big process. You take the wrapper off, you take the cage off, you take the cork out gently. Get a towel, napkin or something, put it over the cork. You want to make sure you don't have it flying off, hitting anyone in the eye, hurting anyone. The other thing when it comes to champagne is the colder, the better. Make sure it's ice cold. The colder it is, the less pressure it's going to have behind the cork. I'm not sure if anybody's ever opened a warm can of Coca-Cola that they left in the car, but it doesn't go very well. Okay, it goes everywhere. Same thing applies to those bubbles, to that champagne. So the colder you get it, the less chance you're going to have of it squirting out and, foaming out and going on the floor or anything like that. Because honestly, if I am buying that $450 bottle of Dom Perignon and you're popping the cork out and it's shooting all over the place like you just won the Super Bowl, I'm not going to be happy. So make sure it's ice cold and you'll be able to take that out gently without having that problem. So that's just a little bit about wine, opening wine. We'll talk a little bit about summer drinks as well. And I wanted to kind of throw one thing out there while we are here in the middle of, kind of the dog days of summer here in mid-July. We get in some situations, especially in the warm weather times, where it's the beach or a pool bar. We used to work in a restaurant on the docks where there was no glass, the lake, the river, places where we can't have glass. And it's really nice if you've got one of these small ones to go in there and still shake stuff up, even though you don't have a pint glass, to use in there instead. But I have seen, certain bars and certain environments where one of these small ones is really all they got. And they scooped ice with it. They did pretty much everything with it. And everything came in plastic cups because it was on the beach. You can still make, a shake and drink, even if I don't, have the glassware stuff that I need with this and some plastic. Someone wants a martini. Hey, look, it's going to come in a plastic cup. That's fine. I'm still good with it. Awesome. Grab my vermouth, couple drops. Throw a little ice in there. My 2.5 ounces of vodka here for these folks. And once again, this is just water, not wasting stuff out here. And bam, I walk it right up there and give it a nice shake. I can still give it a nice shake. I can still break it up a little. The key is, if you are doing something like this, please don't ever take this off and stick it in there and pour the drink out there. I've been touching this. I've been handling this. I don't want to stick it in someone's drink. I can very simply make a little crack in the front and pour it out just like that. And if the person's happy with that, because they don't care, they're just walking down to the beach or they're taking it to the pool or, going wherever they're going to enjoy their martini, hey, throw a couple olives in there and, you've got your poolside martini without the glass, without having to worry. Still shaken up, still a good cocktail, but you don't have the glass. And I've served them to many people just like this, poolside, beachside, who enjoyed it and loved it and been very happy to come back. So it's very cool. You can use these things, along the same lines. Even if I only have a bigger mixing tin like this, boom, bigger red Solo cup, something like this goes in there. Really easy to shake it. Once again, just don't pop this out, stick it in there. Nice little crack in the front there. I can pour it out nicely and still make a drink that way if the person wants it and the person's good with it in a plastic cup. So I'll throw that out there. I got some wine out here. This is something that definitely always comes up in the summertime, this time of the year. Wine cooler, wine spritzer. And it can be done with any type of wine. The person can call whatever they want, a Chardonnay, a Sauvignon Blanc, a red wine, a white wine, boom. Really simply, I'm always going to grab the biggest glass I got. We're always going to fill it all the way to the top of ice. I'm going to throw in the wine that they would like, and then I'm going to top it off with either club soda or Sprite. And if I have the person in front of me, generally I'm going to ask them if they want club soda or Sprite. But a good rule of thumb is this. If it's a sweet wine, you can probably go ahead and put Sprite in there because it's already sweet and the extra sugar is not going to upset it very much. If it's a dry wine, probably going to go with club soda because it's something that's not sweet. You're going to put sugar onto something that's not a sweet drink to start with. It's probably not in that person's palate. So I just stop it off here with a little club soda. Throw a straw in there. Let's see, we got some fruit to garnish it. And throw a lemon or a lime on there just like that. And boom, we got our nice summer wine cooler. Wine spritzer, really, really easy to do, really, really popular in the summertime. So I wanted to do that because I had the wine out here talking about wine today. But I also want to have some fun, excuse me, with a couple different cocktails. So summertime, looking for some different summer stuff. I saw this one, Summer Breeze cocktail. So let's go ahead and give this one a go and try our Summer Breeze here. So I'm going to start with my mixing tin. Again, just about 2/3 full of ice, not too much. I don't want to get it too full. I want to make sure that I do have room to put all my alcohol and good stuff in there. So this is going to be a tequila-based drink. Oh, I've lost my cork. Tequila-based drink here. I have my faux Clase Azul here. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of my tequila in like that. If you're not familiar with Clase Azul, it is excellent. These are hand-painted kiln-fired bottles. And you can make them ring like that and have some fun if you like to. So then I'm also going to need some, a little bit of citrus vodka. So my Summer Breeze, got my 1.5 ounces tequila, do about 1 ounce there of citrus vodka in there as well. We're also going to do 1/2 ounce of triple sec. I've got my fake Cointreau here. So do 1/2 ounce of there in there like that. And then we also need some orange juice. I'll throw a little orange juice in there like that. All right, so I've got most of my ingredients in here now. Throw it in there, give it a nice good shake. I'll take my Collins glass. I'm going to fill it up with some fresh ice here. I'm going to go ahead and start with a little grenadine on the bottom. Let a little bit of that grenadine syrup down there. And we'll pour our cocktail in on top of that to get a nice effect, just like that. Straw in there. See if we got an orange to put on there. There we go, get a nice piece of orange. Also throw a cherry in there. Nice cool effect, just kind of like this tequila sunrise. And we've got our Summer Breeze cocktail. Awesome, awesome. Kind of a different little take, on the traditional tequila sunrise, but very cool looking, awesome summery cocktail. So let's try one more I got here. I like this one too. I'm gonna rinse my stuff out just a bit here. If we're gonna be near the water, why not make something blue? So let's make something blue. This one's called Sex in the Driveway, which I kind of like a little different take on it here. So I'm going to get some ice here in my mixing tin. And for this one, we're going to do some vodka. So we're going to do 1 ounce here of vodka. Throw it in there like that. And we will do 1 ounce of our blue curacao. We're going to do 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps. We'll just grab something clear here. Do 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps in there. Then we will grab it all together. Give it a nice little shake here. And nice and mixed up. All right. We'll strain this out into our Collins glass. Fresh ice. And then we will top it off with some Sprite, Sierra Mist, lemon lime soda, something like that. So we'll give this a nice cherry. Where are my cherries? Some nice red cherry in there, give it some color. And we have our Sex in the Driveway cocktail, ready to go for summertime. So gotta do one more because I was looking this one up and I found, I found a bunch of different recipes for this one because I'd heard it mentioned a couple times. So I was very curious to see what's in it, mostly because I like them. And the movie I'm referring to is Endless Summer. Never seen the movie Endless Summer. It is an amazing, amazing movie. Very quickly, the premise of it is a couple of surfers decide that they are just going to chase summer. And so that they're going to go around the globe following the summer season surfing. And I believe they start in Hawaii or Los Angeles, and then they go around the world. And they start in Los Angeles, I think, and they end up in Hawaii is where they finally finish off. Very, very cool movie. It is one of those movies that starts off as one thing and kind of becomes something else, because it is just a surfer movie and it starts off just about being surfing. And that's all it was. They wanted to make a movie about surfing and them surfing around the world for a whole calendar year following the summer. But what it ends up being is a movie about people and all the people that they meet along their journey and all the friends that they make and the way that people help them out through it and, get them to all these cool surf spots and all the people they meet along the way. It is a very, very amazing movie. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. I think it's an awesome movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. So in the summer cocktail, once again, I saw a bunch of different recipes, but I wanted to do at least one. And I really liked this one and the way this one was done. So this is the one I chose to do. So I'm going to grab, once again, my handy dandy Mixer 10. About 2/3 of ice in here. And once again, we're going to go for our tequila. And I'm going to do 1.5 ounces here of my Clase. My cork came off of my Clase. There we go. Clase Reposado. Back in there. And then we're going to do about 1.5 ounces here of our orange juice. That's perfect there. We do a 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice. So once again, half a lemon, half a lime is about 1/2 ounce. So I'm going to cut this lime in half. In my squeezer, a nice squeeze there. All right. And then I need some orange liqueur. So I have my faux Cointreau. So I have tequila, lime juice, orange juice, a little orange liqueur in there as well. And then the final thing would be creme de cassis. So creme de cassis is made from black currants. They're very similar to black raspberries. In a pinch, if I didn't have creme de cassis, I could do Chambord or razzmatazz. Got some purple stuff, going to be close enough here to my creme de cassis, and we'll throw it all in there. So you got a little bit of that berry, you got some orange, you got some lime. Grab it in here, give it a nice shake. Get that nice and mixed up in there now. Grab my tulip glass here with some fresh ice in it. And we'll pour up Endless Summer cocktail. Nice straw here. Throw a nice little cherry on top. And we are all set for a nice endless summer. So summer season's still going on. I hope you're having fun, being safe. And I will see you next Wednesday with a new topic on the Wednesday weekly learning session. Thank you very much. Have a great